Good afternoon. We're going to go through a little bit of a video today to try to show the initial flight of my Skydio 2 drone. So let's get started. I've got the drone here. I've got the complete package that came. That was an extra order, but it provides you all the stuff you kind of need actually. You can get the drone just by itself, but it helps to have a lot of extra equipment. So let's go through what we're going to do here. We're going to obviously have the Skydio 2 drone out for the initial flight. I have been flying drones now for about 5 years, and this is the 7th drone that I've had, but obviously never a Skydio 2 before. But my experience has always been to use a controller. So that's one of the reasons I got the complete extra kit. It comes with extra batteries and some other stuff that I'll go through in other videos later on, but it comes with a controller. And so my first flight is going to be with a controller because that's what I'm used to, and I want the first flight to have as few problems as possible. So it also has a controller, and I'm going to have to hook that up when I get out to the liftoff and landing zone. So that's where we are with that. There is a bit of a pre-flight check that I usually try to go through. It's part of my workflow when I'm putting any drone in the air, and it is particularly important when you're going to be sending up something that you've never sent up before, have no real clue as to the details as to how to run it. So I go through a couple of things. Obviously, you can go through a standard pre-flight check of the device itself, and I have pretty much already done that. Obviously, being brand new out of the box, literally, I don't expect any problems, and it is a solidly built device. Looks all good to me. I have put on. It's a sunny day out where we're going to be doing our initial flight. So I've already put on a neutral density filter. I selected number 16 for today. Usually that's kind of a guess. Let's see, what else happens? I've obviously gone through check the weather. Visually, it looks good. The wind is picking up, especially right where we're going to fly. You'll see what that's all about in a second. I happen to use another app that I use often, and this app is called UAV Forecast. And the app gives me real-time at-location information with regards to wind speed, temperature, wind direction, the number of miles of visibility, and it even tells me how many SATs are locked for this particular location at this time. So that is the GPS system is able to have enough SATs to be able to work properly. It then gives you a readout of all of this. You can see it here. Plus you can see that it is reading at the top bar, green, as in good to go. So the conditions presently out there where we're going to be doing our flight, they're good to go, good to fly for the first flight. But this app I find very valuable and use it all the time. In fact, I do a lot of bicycling. I use this app for bicycling because it tells me wind direction and wind speed. So I got that. That pretty much finishes up the pre-flight check. I'll pack everything up and I'm going to take it down to an area where there is few obstructions, actually no obstructions. It's nice and open, and it's nice and flat, which is all the conditions I want for this initial flight. Yes, this drone is designed to fly around obstructions, but for a first flight, I want everything clear, very easily seen, and open space without a whole lot of people. And I happen to have just the place, only a couple hundred yards to my west. And I'll give you a little explanation as to where it is we are and where it is we're going to fly. Ideally for our first flight, I would be looking for a nice flat area with no obstructions, low wind, and so where to do the first flight. Looks like a good place is right where I am. This blue dot shows you where we are located, and you'll notice that the street comes to an end. There's a little bit of a patch there of land before you see a lot of water. Taking a look at the satellite view, you can see we are on the Oregon coast, right next to the Pacific Ocean. And the beach provides a perfect place, as long as there's low wind, for a first flight. So that's where we'll be doing the first flight of the Skydio 2 today, along the beach. I'm not going to fly out over the water, although I do that often with my Autel Evo 1. Very comfortable with flying over water once I know how the aircraft and the controller works. This first flight, we'll simply go up and down the beach and stay over dry land. So that's the logistics for this first flight of the Skydio 2. This is going to be the initial flight of the Skydio 2. We're going to be launching from the case, which it supposedly then comes back to. All of this is going to be kind of a test. We're on the Oregon coast. We're in a tiny little community called Tierra del Mar, and this is our beach. And so as you can see, it's pretty unobstructed. The wind is picking up, so we want to give this a try before the wind gets much stronger. Then I'm going to pull it out here. I've got a battery in it, and get that started. I have already put a neutral density filter on it, and I'll probably cover that in another video. You have to remember to take this protector off for the gimbal, and so we got it off. Okay, we think we're All right. And of course, I forgot my phone.